A federal judge just blocked one of the most extreme power grabs of Donald Trump's presidency. And the reason matters not just for California, but for the entire country. Judge Charles Breyer ruled that Trump's federal takeover of the California National Guard was unlawful, unsupported by evidence, and a dangerous expansion of presidential power far beyond what Congress authorized. This case is about authoritarian power, plain and simple, and the court said no. In June, Trump ordered roughly 4,000 California National Guard troops into federal service under Title X authority. That means they no longer answer to the governor, they answer to the president. He framed Los Angeles as overwhelmed by immigration chaos and lawlessness.
In Los Angeles, California, have you heard of the place? Where I've deployed thousands of National Guard troops and hundreds of Marines. And some of the radical left, they say, oh, that's not nice. Well, if we didn't do it, there wouldn't be a Los Angeles. It'd be burning today, just like their houses were burning a number of months ago. The agitators are throwing firebombs, Molotov cocktails, lighting vehicles ablaze. You saw all the cars that were burning.
But the judge found no evidence of local breakdowns, no emergency, and no legal justification. Breyer's ruling makes clear that a president cannot invent a crisis or bypass state authority to seize control of its military forces.
In his ruling, District Judge Charles Breyer wrote the government is meant to be a, quote, system of checks and balances, adding that the, quote, defendants, however, make clear that the only check they want is a blank one.
Judge Breyer warned that Trump's interpretation of presidential power amounted to a blank check. He said it would allow a president to create a national police force made up of state troops, something no law authorizes. This is the authoritarian playbook. 1. Exaggerate the threat. 2. Blame local officials. 3. Justify military involvement. We saw it in Portland, at the border, and now Los Angeles. These escalations follow a pattern documented by civil rights groups and legal scholars, using manufactured disorder to justify militarized responses to political opponents. Governor Gavin Newsom and Attorney General Rob Bonta said the takeover was illegal, dangerous, and violated state sovereignty.
It was absurd. The whole pretext was nonsensical. Not only was it blatantly illegal, he would have lost in the courts, but he would have lost in the court of public opinion.
Wildfire response, emergency readiness, and immigrant communities were all at risk. Civil rights organizations warned the deployment recklessly endangered residents, and the court agreed. The founders feared concentrated military power. That's why laws like Posse Comitatus and the limits on the Insurrection Act exist. Presidents are not supposed to use troops as tools of political control. Breyer's ruling recognizes the pattern: domestic militarization dressed up as public safety. This case fits into a broader trend of Trump using emergency language to expand executive authority in ways even previous Republican presidents did not attempt.
So Posse Comitatus says no part of the Army or the Air Force can be used in support of or as an arm of law enforcement to produce law enforcement requirements. So the question is, does the National Guard fall within that prism? And the answer would be no. Statutorily, the Guard doesn't fall within that because it is under the command and control of the governor, a state entity, not a federal entity, and would not fall in that situation.
The ruling is paused while Trump appeals, but the message is clear. A president cannot federalize troops for political theater. A president cannot punish states by seizing their military forces. A president cannot turn the National Guard into a domestic police force. If the ruling stands, it reinforces real limits on presidential power. If it's overturned, the consequences are enormous. It would hand presidents of either party a tool the Constitution was designed to prevent: the ability to override state control of their own military forces on a political whim. An overturned ruling would greenlight future presidents, not just Trump, to conscript state forces whenever they find local leaders politically inconvenient. This ruling isn't just a legal moment. It's a reminder of why guardrails exist. Trump tried to use military power inside the United States for political ends. And the courts, for now, have said that goes too far. Because in a democracy, fear cannot justify force, and the military cannot replace governing. And no president, no matter how loud his threats or how sweeping his ambitions, gets to rewrite the balance of power the Constitution puts in place. Thanks for spending a few minutes digging into this with me. If you want more grounded, progressive commentary without the outrage bait, subscribe and stick around. Every time you watch, share, and engage, it helps build a community that believes democracy is worth understanding and defending. I'll see you in the next video.